Friends, the importance of labor statutes and human resources management or talent management, the importance will go hand in hand. Let me start with a simple example of a story of an ant. There were two ants sitting at the side of a river, and the ants were discussing about their ambition level. And one ant was telling about, I wanted to be a rich ant in the world. And the other ant was exchanging, no, I wanted to be the fastest ant in the world. So the third ant sitting at the riverside was looking at the exchange between the two ants, and the third ant was saying, hey, I don't want to be an ant as you wish. I want to be a butterfly. What I want to convey is the ambition level should be high. The ant who is aspiring to be a butterfly is thinking something which all of us should think about. The old theory of McGregor's human side of enterprises, the authoritative style of management, what we call as theory X in management, that is called the McGregor's theory on X, and the theory on Y is the participative style of management. Once the authoritative style where you exercise control and supervision, that is why we have managers. And the second is the theory Y, where people are inspired and they take the responsibility and they will work on their own. That is the second concept. Those concepts has no more right now in the present digital scenario has no force. It is more of the possibilities. We don't want to be managed. Your son doesn't want to be managed. Your wife doesn't want to be managed. Your servant doesn't want to be managed, because you want to be more and more free, and you should aspire the impossibilities. The human resources manager should see to it the impossibilities of the human resources to be explored. At least you think of the impossibilities. Unless you think of the impossibilities, you cannot achieve that impossibility. So the employees should be inspired for the impossibilities so that they can come out the best out of that. So in the current digital economy, digital scenario, the old concept of theory X and theory Y of McGregor's, I don't find it is of much importance. So we like to look at a different angle. If you look at the industrial development, industrial revolution, the first industrial revolution was during the 17th century to 18th century. We were thinking of let us have a look at the 17th century to 18th century, where there was steam engine operation. And the second industrial revolution started somewhere around 19th century to 1930, where we had electrical engines and connected machineries, etc., connected to electrical machine engines. Then started the third industrial revolution, where the electronics and computing has started. From 1950 to 2000, we had electronics, we have computing connected with that. And right now we are in the fourth stage of industrial revolution. We are on the Internet of Things, that is, usually we call it as IoT, Internet of Things, where we have access to all the data throughout the world. The Google, you can have all data. You exchange the data through your computer, your computing, and with just a click you will find and exchange data throughout the world. So we are in the fourth stage of industrial revolution of Internet of Things. The employment fabric of economics is undergoing structural change. That is very important. The fabric of the employment scenario is changing. There is a total structural change. The opening of the economics, the economy, and the international competitiveness has become the order of the day. There is a paradigm shift from the old traditional concept of employer-employee relationship to a digital economy where there is no concept of a permanent employer-employer relationship. It is due to the liberalization of the economy and the labor market has become liberalized. The major jobs have become contractual in nature. Now we have more and more contractual employees. There's a sea changes in the employer-employee relationship. The old concept of permanent job versus non-permanent job is the order of the day. We were all looking at, when you go for an employment area, we think of a permanency in the job. Now the concept is no more permanency in job. There's a paradigm shift to a freelance job, where the job is contractual or freelancer in nature. Now 30% of the Indian labor market is changing over to the freelance economy, where employees are more of a freelance-oriented one. That is the importance of the digital economy. We are in the era of digital economy where we are thinking of an inclusive growth. The government of India is looking at an inclusive growth where the government aspires the major portion of the workforce, that is 90% of the labor force, which is unorganized, has to be developed, and the growth should reach the unorganized sector. We talk about the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, the HR chatbot solutions, the technological innovations replacing the human workforce, the online platforms, social networks, aggregators, etc. every day. The traditional concept of employer-employer relationship is no more existing. There is a high demand of workforce freelancing, high demand for freelancers and competition amongst themselves. So freelancers, now to get a good freelance worker has become all the more difficult. It is you are looking for more and more multi-skilled freelancers. That is where we are in a totally different scenario. We are talking about fixed-term contract employment. The FTC is shortly going to be tabled before the Parliament, which is going to be approved. So it's no more a permanent concept of employment. You call it as probation or then confirmation, etc. That will slowly disappear, and the economic scenario, the permanent job is slowly going to disappear. I am not telling you about all of a sudden. It is going to be slowly disappear even in the government departments, government of India and government of Kerala and state government, everywhere the employment is going to be a task-oriented rather than a job-oriented. We pay the money for the task they complete, not the permanency-based payment. There is no more a stable career. Instead of a stable career, it is called independent work. Stable career means a permanent work. An independent career is, they are not employees. They are freelancers. They get the payment for the service rendered. The social and economic anxieties are also there on the other side. You look at the freelancer, the anxieties, look at the health aspects, the health insurance. None of them have got health insurance, the freelancers. They have no retirement benefits. There is no retirement plans for the freelancer workers. There is no leave. There is no working hours, etc. So these are the challenges that the economy is going to face. So there is an uncertain economic scenario which we are facing. In this context, we are looking at the entire labor laws application and the human resources management. The uncertain economic scenario is all the more important. There are hundreds of labor statutes. We call it Central has got 44 labor statutes, and each state has got a number of labor statutes. And to put into practice these complex labor statutes has become all the more difficult. In other words, it is nothing but difficult to enforce at least 10% of the labor statutes. We are talking about the gig workers and the gig economy. As I told earlier, there is no economic permanency of employment in the present economic scenario. It is called a gig economy where we find gig workers, you call it as Uber taxis, Uber food, Zomato, etc. These are all the new intrusion of gig workers in the gig economy, which has already been in force in all the developing countries like England, America, etc. So gig economy, we are right now 30% of the labor force is gig workers. So we have to look at the sudden change. I call it as a slow change of the fourth industrial revolution and the gig workers and the gig economy that plays a very important. And we are looking at people with multiple skills. It is not one skill you require. You want gig workers with a more complex, multi-skilled workers on demand. And you don't find multiple skilled workers in the gig economy. There is a balance between vitality and viability in the economy. People transformation, capability building, capability improvement, organizational effectiveness, talent management, people to reach its full potential. Life would be better and longer and healthier in the present digital economy. So employer is investing for the well-being of the employee, and the employer also expects much from the gig worker. So in this present economic scenario, the importance of labor statutes and how to put into practice all these labor statutes in a working environment, the HR managers, HR people handling everything are to take a different outlook. So that's all. Thank you very much.